Hello, my name is the Crimson DM, and welcome back to another whatever the hell this is. I guess a rant. This is mostly just a follow-up from last week because in 1 week there has been a universe of changes, and so it's worth documenting the updates I found here just until things quiet down or get better. So, let's just try and put this into some kind of timeline. It started many years ago when Visa and mastercard were pressuring places like Patreon and some other websites, and they've been slowly working their way into destroying adult entertainment first, but also some other things that I guess they don't personally like. It was all part of the original cancel culture, and it's only gotten worse since then, but the targets have kind of changed a little bit. See, originally it was more targeted towards the political spectrum, mostly targeting right-wing conservative groups, but letting all the left-wing liberal groups or whatever be just fine to do whatever they want, no matter how radical. This has started to change. They're not really going after the conservatives anymore, but the targets have changed for sure. They are specifically targeting anything that is adult and mature in nature now, and that is just stupid. So, a little over a week ago, it starts all over again with them targeting Steam specifically for a massive amount of games that are just complete nonsense. And Steam just bends the knee, doesn't really try to fight it, doesn't do the job that Visa and MasterCard wanted anyways. Gets rid of all the stuff that's basically vanilla, but leaves all the stuff that's, just weird. Then we have a couple days later, and just based on my own experience, I think that itch.io was preparing for this because I noticed that one of my games that was just safe for work, didn't have anything to do with anything, it was just a Doom map. It was de-indexed. And I think it had been de-indexed the whole time. I think they had already been going after creators and just making sure they couldn't index new games until they knew what was going on. Then they do an update. They scare a whole hell of a lot of people because all of the adult games are gone. A lot of the adult games are deleted. All the SFW games that are just weird are also gone. Some of those are deleted. A lot of the queer games are gone. Some of those are deleted. And then all of the quote-unquote known targets that probably shouldn't have been putting things on itch anyway, those were deleted, meaning that itch.io knew that these games that existed, and they were just tolerating them because they didn't make money. And, well, I want to say that was good on itch for tolerating them, but damn, they could have given people any amount of warning in advance. Like, even just to say, like, hey, we're looking into this, there will be some changes, please bear with us, you're going to see a lot of weird things going on for the next few weeks or few months. They didn't really let us know what was going on until, like, 3 in the middle of the night, and when they did let us know what was going on, it was pretty much just asinine response. And I know they're trying to blame it on Collective Shout, and they're trying to say to go to your Visa and payment processors and stuff, but it's the way itch has handled it and has continued to handle it that's not good. We got an update from itch saying that they're looking into other payment options. Good luck with that because, well, unfortunately we live in a world where somehow Visa and MasterCard rule all the money, and that's just awful. I guess maybe they could add cryptocurrency in as an option for this and see where that goes, but maybe gift cards, who knows? It's up to them to figure that out. But, and aside from just that, like, the real targets here are Visa and MasterCard. We all know that. itch.io screwed up, and they're continuing to kind of screw up and just not really address people's concerns, except for the mouth-washing one. They did point out that one wasn't part of it, but even though Fear and Hunger was de-indexed years ago, I believe it was de-indexed for the same things that we're seeing now. They have not said that it wasn't, so I'm just assuming some payment processor called them and said, hey, we don't like this game. Stop making money from it. We also have had, thanks to 4chan returning and being the 4chan heroes that they used to be, a campaign to go after and just annoy the hell out of Visa and MasterCard, calling them so much that their phone lines have been swarmed and busy for like about a week now. And I'm hoping that doesn't stop anytime soon. And the reason why? Well, basically, if they have to live with this for the rest of their life, we should let them know. Like, if they're not going to reverse their changes and start being humans again, then they need to hear about it for the rest of their days. And I don't think there's any problem with that. We should be letting them know how we feel their behavior is working, and how it has worked against us and how it has affected us, because their behavior is just poor. And a good company will hear the complaints of their customers and will look into the situation and fix it. They're not good companies. They're not going to do that. In fact, I've heard reports that they're just calling people who call in now names. And I'm like, that sucks. Like, that's awful. You shouldn't call your customers names. Alright? This will probably lead into some good when people move to other payment systems and figure that out, and maybe get like a second card that's American Express specifically for this purpose. But, you know, I guess there's no reason you can't have two cards, as far as I know. But it's just a nightmare right now. Then we have the situation with the UK where, and I guess I've kind of been saying this for a while because I've been a little bit on top of it. Basically, they just age restricted the internet for people that are in the UK. They called anyone using a VPN a child killer or something. And that was a guy who specifically did not want to help save children in real life. He voted against saving children in real life. So, good job, politician. Go after the cartoons, but protect the evils of real life people. That's exactly what people want to see from you. And then the Australia has just gone fucking nuts. And I know Australia's been a disaster hole for many years now, but they're just awful. And then we got this Kids Safety Act or something that they're trying to bring to America, and it's the same thing the UK has. And I'm hoping that just like 5 years ago, it just gets spit out of court because it just spits in the face of our First Amendment as Americans and our creative freedoms. Like, I get the UK has become a third world country, and Australia is like a safer version of China, possibly. I don't know if they've got riots and stuff going on there, but it sounds like they're just completely controlled, but they're technically safe. I don't know much about Australia, I'll be honest, because all the Australian YouTubers I watched quit or were forced off the internet, probably for these laws. And now, like, we just have a lot of really bad censorship things going on. And if there's any hope, I want to say it's that we have been through this kind of situation before. I know that people don't remember because I wasn't even alive then, but back in like the 50s, it was illegal to show Elvis Presley's legs on screen because he would sway his hips as he was singing, and they considered that pornographic. So they would only show him from the waist up, which is weird. But, you know, flash forward 20 years, we got people doing all kinds of weird dances on TV. However, you go to the 80s, and then you have the Satanic Panic, where they're just going after like anything. D&D, books, movies, music. You have bands like Manowar and Twisted Metal, Twisted Sister, they're going after all of them. You couldn't buy a lot of these in stores. They were just banned. Somehow D&D survived and got as popular as it is, but, like, I kind of understand what was going on with the creatives. The metalheads were all pushing back. There's a reason Manowar is one of the coolest damn bands on the planet. You know, they pushed hard for that for, like, it was a really hard push for 3 years, then it was a soft push for, like, 10 years, and then just, like, people complaining but not doing anything for a total of 15 years. So the whole thing lasted about 15 years till the mid to late 90s. And that was an awful time. But it did eventually end, and now we have literal books about, you know, doing weird rituals and shit. Alright? And people don't give a shit. People don't care. There's also the comic book thing where the Silver Age was based on some regulations set in place to ban any comic books that had themes that were, you know, not okay and safe for children. That eventually ended and became the Bronze Age and now the Dark Age of comics, which, or the Modern Age of comics. And the Modern Age of comics has not changed since then. And with the speed and evolution of technology and information sharing, any events like this have, like, when they hit hard, but they usually get fixed very quickly. And I think the UK is probably just in a lot of trouble. I have no faith that that's going to end peacefully. I wish it would, but when the government literally looks at the populace that is saying in loud speaking tones, we don't like this, and saying, screw you, the populace is going to react, and I think it's going to be really bad for them in the long run. Not to mention that they're doing a lot of illegal monopolization policies that are going to be fought in courts. So yeah, we're going to see some problems. I think Amazon, if they really do go with, like, only Google apps are allowed, Amazon's going to sue them, because I think Amazon still has an app store. It's not very big, but they still have one, and if Google owns the monopoly by the government's right, well, people are going to fight back, even if it's other corporations. The 2-hour-long, you know, video game thing is going to kill video games. So I think the AAA video game industry is all going to fight back on that. And then as for, you know, face scans and whatever, people are scanning Norman Reedus' face, so it's already proven that it doesn't work. I guess, what would you do? Because what, are you going to say that Norman Reedus' face is banned? What if Norman Reedus scans his own real-life face? Like, seriously. It's just a nightmare there, and I don't think they know what the hell they're doing. And I think it's going to end very poorly. It might take a few years, but it's going to end very badly for them. And they've been going on that downward spiral for a long time, which just sucks, because the UK used to be a cool place for hipsters when I was a kid. But with the advance of technology and how information is shared now, we're probably going to have a really rough couple of years going forward for mass censorship on the internet space. But when it does eventually go away, well, history has shown that every time these mass censorship events happen, when they go away, we get more freedoms than we ever had before. I think everyone should be able to do whatever the hell they want. Even if it's objectionable, especially if it's objectionable. If it's objectionable, then you're challenging people to ask questions and to use their little tiny pea brains. And that is what art is for, to make people think. Or to escape and not make them think. But, you know, either one is good. We need more escapism, though. And as dark and fucked up as this is, as much as it has taken away all my hope and desire to just create anything, I do have faith that in the long run, good things will happen. It's just, we had finally reached a point where people had settled on an agreed set upon rules for the internet and what was tolerated. And that hadn't really changed for the past, like, 5 to 10 years. it could have stayed this way. But now, because of the way people have acted and what they're doing, when it does go away, they're just opening the door for more freedom than we've ever seen. But the challenge is going to be, how long is it going to take before that goes away, and what is it going to take? Is it going to take new legislation and laws? Is it going to take a new generation of people that are sick of the censorship? You know, a Gen X or whatever the next generation will be? Is it going to take a Internet 2.0 that's not based on the current understanding of the internet and what we use now? Well, we don't really know at this point, but it'll be something. And I don't think that the mass censorship will last forever, because it never works in the long run. Never. Like, straight up, these are like Hitler tactics, okay? And we saw what happened with Germany in 1942 and whatever. People weren't stupid. Like, the moment that they caught on to what was going on, they opened their eyes. Same thing happened with the Wall and David Hasselhoff making rock music to help bring it down. Like, this will eventually go away. The question is just how long. And I am really hoping at the very most it's only a couple of years, because we have so many creative people that have creative ideals that require this form of expression to just deal with their trauma and survive. Or that make money doing this, and they make money from their passion, and they're all going to be hurt in the meantime. So I really hope it doesn't take long, but at the same time, like, with how quickly everything has changed in just 1 week, I don't have a lot of faith that's going to be quick. We'll just have to wait and see, but I'll keep making reports as long as things keep changing. So just keep an eye out. Next week I'll have another video if there's an update. I'm just hoping that we get improvements soon. We need one victory here. Just like at least one good thing to come of this immediately. Oh well. Just want to say thank you guys for watching, and hope you have a wonderful day. Adios.